So I'm editing a video for my vlog tomorrow, and I just realized what I thought was a gray hair is actually a piece of string in my hair the whole video. Check it out. All right, so we're ending the year, last video, and you see it? Just chilling in my hair. I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions. I'm leaving it.
I was made for this. Yeah, yeah. I was made for this. I was made for this.
All right, so we're ending the year, last video, and I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions. It's the time that everyone's thinking about it. We start in the beginning and then really never get back to it after January. So let's change that. And I think the biggest thing that helps change that, I think it's first important that you think about being self-aware, like understanding who you are and what you want to do, so that the actions that you take map to where you want to be in the future. And so take a minute, like take all of January if that's what you need. Like take a second to figure out where you want to go. The wonderful thing about the end of the year and the New Year's is that it's a moment in time when we refresh, when we think about the past and look to the future. I think it's really important to take those pauses in time and to plan for what's coming up. Really, I think that there's two motivations that you need to think about moving forward as you're thinking about New Year's resolutions. You are going to die, and you are never going to be younger than you are today. So don't wait to start living. I think this is really important. This is the biggest thing that I say. Okay, so listen up. I say this to my kids. I have 3 kids. They're 6, 9, and 10. And since my oldest was, 5, I kept saying like, look, I'm going to die, and you need to figure out how you want to navigate life. Okay, I want to make it very clear. I do help my kids. I just want to lay the foundation that no one else is going to solve your problem. I help them have communication with their siblings or the person that's hurting them and talk through it and learn to empower them to be able to navigate those situations themselves so that they figure out what makes sense for them and how they want to deal with it moving forward. I feel like that's the foundation that as a kid, you think if I'll run and tell mom and dad, and it's easy as a parent to just answer those things and just say, stop hitting your sister, stop hitting your brother. But to take the moment and have this be something where they can learn how to communicate with each other. They're having a dispute and they need to communicate and work through it. And that is the entire rest of their life. They're going to have to do that with countless number of people. And so I take this opportunity to just say, okay, did you talk to them about it? Did you, let's go have this discussion. And I help facilitate them working it out. There's a miscommunication that they need help navigating through. They need opportunities to work through problems. Parents coming in and just, solving them and laying consequences doesn't help them to be able to deal with the situation. So I wanted to make it very clear. I'm very much a part of my kids' life. I just want to give them foundation for how to work with someone else. And that's where this kind of stems from. So, okay. And I know a lot of people will think about like, oh, kids don't need to be thinking about that. But I think it's really important at an early age. I think that was my advantage, is that really, really, really young, I started really analyzing other people and seeing what was going on and really deciding for myself how I wanted to live. I could hear what other people were saying, but I didn't have to accept it for my truth. So I think it's really important that you understand at a young age. And now, getting back to New Year's resolutions, when you're thinking about this, you need to think about outcomes and habits that you want to form to create those outcomes. So for example, this is now the 5th year that I've been working on my magazine. So 5 years I've been dedicating time to creating some articles and gathering photos around living life intentionally. And it's just kind of become my life's work, and it's moved on and grown. Now I have this channel, and it just keeps moving me forward. And in my mind, it was, my dedication was, I knew I was gonna get up 1 hour a day. You'll never find time, you have to make time for what really matters. And so I just said, okay, I'm gonna take at least an hour a day. I still did Netflix, and I was, had a full-time job and side hustle, and was a dad, and helped my wife at the time to start her business. But I said I'm gonna take 1 hour a day to writing and doing this magazine, and it took a year to just put out my first one. So like the starting point of like launching your product was a year in the making. So that's what you have to think about, is habits that you want to put into place that get you the correct outcome that lead to where you want to go in life. And you don't have to know exactly what that is. You just have to have an idea of where you're going. And then you just take steps towards that end goal. So I knew I wanted to put out a magazine every year for the next 10 years. So I just started. Okay, I'm gonna dedicate an hour. So I had a habit of every single day putting at least 1 hour. And sometimes it was 4 or 5 hours, and sometimes it was just the 1 hour, but I had dedicated at least 1 hour a day. So when you're thinking about New Year's resolutions, just think about habits that you wanna do. Now, the second thing to think about is when you're doing this, you are willingly creating discomfort for yourself. You have to knowing you're gonna mess up. And every time you do, you get back, and you have to continually recommit to the habits that you want to form. And so throw out New Year's resolutions and just say, what are the habits I want to put into place? What are the skills I want to learn that get me to where I want to go? That was one of the things that I did 6 months ago. I just said, I'm going to put out a video every Monday. And for 6 months, I've put out a video every Monday. I think there's no substitution for work, and there's no substitution for discomfort for creating the life that you want. It's not gonna just happen. You have to make deliberate, intentional choices that map to the ambition that you have in your mind. So let's do it. Let's throw out New Year's resolutions. Let's start thinking about creating the life that you want, one habit at a time, one day at a time. Again, just remember, you are going to die, and you will never be younger than you are today. Your best work is ahead of you. And if you're intentional with your time, you can accomplish the amount of 3 lifetimes in 1 life. And that's the goal. All right, I'll see you in the new year.